A busy construction site. A large excavator is working inside a deep excavation pit. Along one edge of the excavation, there is a retaining wall built to hold back the soil. At first glance, the wall appears solid and stable. But while the machine continues operating, the wall suddenly cracks. Within seconds, the retaining wall collapses with a loud crash, and the mass of soil behind it flows into the excavation area. Soil and debris partially bury the excavator, while nearby workers are forced to retreat quickly. Retaining walls and excavation edges can suddenly lose stability under load. Machines and personnel should not operate directly next to these structures. Ground conditions and surrounding areas must be inspected regularly. A worker is unloading cargo from a truck using a manual pallet jack. However, the truck's hydraulic lift platform is not fully lowered to ground level. As the load is pulled across the partially inclined surface, it loses balance. The weight shifts forward, and the unsecured cargo tips over uncontrollably and falls to the ground. Before unloading, the hydraulic platform must be fully lowered and secured. Loads should not be pulled on sloped surfaces. Cargo must be properly secured, and equipment should be used only on level ground. Safe unloading begins with correct positioning. Inside a storage facility, a small ignition is seen, likely starting from an electrical fault. What initially appears minor quickly begins producing heavy smoke and flames. An employee attempts to intervene with a water hose, but the fire cannot be controlled. The flames spread outside the room, ignite nearby products, and rapidly engulf the entire area. An ordinary malfunction turns into a major emergency within seconds. Electrical installations in storage areas must be inspected regularly. Proper automatic fire suppression systems and the correct types of fire extinguishers should be accessible. Incorrect intervention can make a fire worse. Preparation and proper equipment reduce risk. The footage shows the damage left behind after an unusual incident at an electrical facility located near a residential area. Allegedly, a person entered the area thinking it was a portable toilet. When he attempts to interfere with a metal component, he makes contact with high voltage. A powerful explosion occurs upon contact, and the surrounding electrical system is disabled. Even the smallest contact in areas with electricity can be fatal. Such locations are never places to enter casually for any reason. High voltage leaves no margin for error for the human body. The basic rule around electricity is simple. Do not approach, do not touch, and do not attempt to intervene. A worker is performing a small repair and adjustment on top of a large paper roll lying on the floor. Nearby, a forklift is pushing another massive paper roll of the same type. The carried load significantly blocks the operator's forward view. The operator cannot see the worker in front of him. As the forklift moves forward, the distance closes rapidly, and the worker suddenly finds himself in danger. If large loads block a forklift operator's view, the forklift should be driven in reverse, or a spotter must be used. Workers should not stand in forklift travel paths. Separating pedestrian and forklift routes and enforcing clear rules helps prevent accidents. At a container port, a heavy machine is traveling in a straight line when a worker or supervisor on site starts walking toward it. He most likely wants to say something to the operator, but the operator does not notice. The worker continues walking for a short time. At that moment, the operator makes a sharp turn. With the machine's sudden maneuver, the worker ends up inside the turning radius, and within seconds, a crushing hazard occurs. Workers should never walk up to active heavy machinery. For communication, The machine must be stopped and eye contact established. Pedestrian and machine routes should be separated and maneuvering zones clearly marked. A single sudden movement can create a serious risk. A forklift is stopped at the side of the road, preparing to cross while waiting for a gap in traffic. As the operator looks for an opening between vehicles, the forklift slowly moves toward the lane. At that moment, a motorcycle approaches at high speed. The forklift's extended forks are not noticed in time by the rider. With no time to react, the motorcycle strikes the forks, and the rider is thrown to the ground after losing control. If forklifts operate near public roads, extra precautions are required. Forks should be kept low, warning systems activated, and a spotter used if necessary. Never move in traffic intersecting areas unless it is completely safe. Visibility and clear signage prevent accidents. The footage shows a school bus driver performing maintenance underneath the bus. The engine is running, and the rear wheels are turning. To prevent movement, the driver places a stone in front of the wheel. However, the stone is not positioned correctly and does not provide sufficient restraint. Shortly after, the vehicle begins to roll slowly. As soon as the driver realizes what is happening, he quickly crawls out from under the bus and manages to reach a safe area at the last moment. When performing maintenance under a vehicle, the engine must be shut off and the vehicle de-energized. Temporary solutions like stones must never be used. Proper wheel chocks and jack stands should be used. Vehicle movement must be fully prevented during maintenance. In a production area, as a worker walks past a balancing machine, the machine's shaft begins to vibrate abnormally. Resonance increases rapidly, and the rotating part loses control and breaks apart. The incident develops very quickly and clearly shows how dangerous it can be to be near such equipment. Even without direct interaction, simply being close to the machine presents a serious hazard. Rotating machinery must only be operated within its designed speed and load limits. All rotating components must be properly guarded, and the work area should be restricted by a safe distance. During maintenance and adjustment, personnel must stay clear of the machine line. Footage recorded at a company entrance shows a group of workers gathered at the doorway trying to enter. A security guard attempts to hold a heavy metal revolving gate closed. As pushing and shoving continues, the gate system is forced beyond its normal operating limits. During this struggle, the security guard faces a crushing hazard. People nearby intervene and manage to pull the guard to safety. This incident shows that moving barriers can pose serious risks in stressful situations. Manual force is not a safe control method. Personnel should not stand in the path of moving barriers.